Alright, so in this video, I'm going to show you one more method for solving quadratics. This method is commonly referred to as solving by quadratic formula. And the benefit to this is that even though it takes a little bit longer than factoring or completing the square, this method works for any quadratic. No matter what, any quadratic that you could ever come up with, you can solve it using this quadratic formula. So the formula is the opposite of b. Okay, I know that that's a negative b, but it really means the opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, and that entire thing is all over 2a. So you'll notice a's, b's, and c's. A is always whatever's in front of x squared. The b is whatever number's in front of x. And c is always referred to as your constant, the number alone. Okay, so let's look at our first example. The first thing that you're always going to do is you're going to find a, b, and c. So on this first problem, we're going to have the number in front of x squared is 4. The number in front of x is 3. And the final number, the constant, is a negative 1. Okay, so you have two things that would be very easy to do right off the get. Okay, right here, you could replace this opposite of b with c. The opposite of our b is a negative 3, so I'm going to fill that in. Alright, and on the bottom we have 2 times a, which that would be easy enough to do. 2 times 4 is 8. So we have half of our formula already. Alright, the only thing that I need to make sure of is that y'all do just this part right here without putting the square root in. Because sometimes you'll get a negative number, and if you put that under the square root, we're going to get some issues. Okay, so if we do 3 squared minus 4 times negative 1, what we would get is 25. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in right here. That really is a 25 right here. Okay, so now this is pretty much our answer. We just have to simplify it up a little bit. So we have negative 3 plus and minus. The square root of 25 is 5, and this is all over 8. Okay, so we have two answers. We have one that's going to be a plus. Negative 3 plus 5 divided by 8 is 2 over 8, or 1/4. There's one answer. We also have negative 3 minus 5 over 8, which is negative 8 over 8, or negative 1. Okay, so there's our other answer. We have two separate answers, a negative 1 and a 1/4. Okay. Alright, so we found a, b, and c. We plugged it into our formula, and we just started to simplify. So let's look at another example. Alright, the same method is going to exist. You're going to first find a, b, and c. So if you notice here, it's just x squared, so there's really an invisible 1 there. So a is 1, b is negative 5, and c is positive 8. So I'm going to do the exact same thing I said before. I'm going to take the opposite of our b, and I'm going to plug it in right here, which would be a positive 5. I'm also going to take 2 times a on the bottom, so that's 2 times 1, which is 2. Alright. Besides that, I'm going to come back over here, and I'm actually going to do b squared minus 4ac, which would be negative 5 squared, and yes, the parentheses are important, minus 4 times 1 times 8. Okay, so that's basically 25 minus 32, or negative 7. So I'm going to come back, and I'm going to put right here, negative 7. Alright, so this one's a little bit easier to simplify. If you type in your calculator square root of negative 7, and you can actually try this, you can pause the video, do it, but if you type in square root of negative 7, your calculator will give you an error. saying that it's not real. Okay, that's because this is an imaginary number. You cannot take the square root of a negative number ever. So you're going to try to think of this, instead of square root of negative 7, we're going to write this as 5 plus or minus the square root of 7, but we're going to just understand that this is imaginary. So you literally put an I there. Okay, and this is still over 2. So these are our two answers. One is a plus, one is a minus. And that's all there is to this. You just use the quadratic formula. You plug in your values and you start to simplify. And again, if you get a negative under here, you take it away and you put an I in its spot. Hope this helps.